Belal Muhammad went off on Sean Strickland following his loss to Dricus Du Plessis last night. He says Sean sucks and didn't even deserve to be fighting for the title in the first place. Belal adds that Dricus also sucks and says if he does end up fighting Khamzat Chimaev next, Khamzat will take his belt.
I told you guys, Strickland sucks. He didn't deserve the title fight. He didn't belong in the title fight. He never earned the first title fight. He's trash, awful, and now maybe they'll stop putting him in title fights. Every one of his fights is normally the same thing. I think he's going to come up with a lot of excuses for this one. He's going to say that he had staph. He's going to say that his nose broke in the 4th round, even though he lost the first 3. He just fights the same way every single time. Even in the Izzy fight, you go back to the corner work from Nixick, and he was telling him, like, bro, we're going to lose a boring decision. Like, you're not even doing much. And, you know, the judges still gave him the fight, but he always fights the same exact way. He's awful. I mean, I'm not saying Dricus is any better. Dricus kind of sucks, but he knows how to win. And he just always toughs it out. But yeah, hopefully we don't see Sean any more title fights. He never even earned any of his title fights. If Khamzat's next, I think it's going to be new. Dricus really hasn't showed much on the grappling side. That tells me that he's going to be able to defend the takedowns, defend the submissions. But we will see. He always figures a way out.
Sean Strickland has issued a statement regarding his loss to Dricus Du Plessis last night. In a video posted on Instagram earlier today, Sean claims that Dricus broke his nose in 6 places.
Hey, what up, guys? We've been here once or twice. I'm so grateful for your guys' support, man. You guys are so awesome. Win or lose, you guys always ride, and I appreciate you, Dricus. Hats off, man. Hell of a fight. Broke my nose like 6 places. Silver lining is your nose is so broken, it's really easy to reset. So, you know, that was a new experience. But, you know, I'll be quick. I get so many messages from fans, friends, family, like, hold your head up, it's okay. And you guys, man, like, I'm good, dude. Like, losing sucks, but, like, we all lose in life. And I talk to so many people, you know, whether they lose their job, their girlfriend breaks up with them, and they just find themselves in this hole. But, like me, I love the misery. Like, I love the suffering, because when you're miserable, when you're in pain, when suffering, the moment that's gone, and it will end, and there will be a new day, a better day, life's good. So, you know, I'm grateful, and being grateful kind of keeps my head up. And, you know, for you guys going through it, look at me, just, you know, broke my nose in front of millions of people, sucks, lost a fight, and I still gotta wake up tomorrow, hold my head up, and be like, hey man, it's a new day, gotta sack up and be a man. So for you guys going through it, look at me, and, you know, I hope that your day gets better.
Sean Strickland has been receiving some backlash over his performance against Dricus Du Plessis last night. After the fight, Khamzat Chimaev posted this to X. He wrote, "Biggest bullshit is this fight," with yawning emojis. Dean Thomas also had strong criticism for Sean's performance. Dean argued that Sean is not the fighter that he claims to be, pointing out that while Sean often declares to the death before fights, his fighting style does not reflect that mentality. He also expressed sympathy for Sean's coach Eric Nixick, who was seen pleading for more activity in the later rounds, only for Sean to ignore his instructions. Dean said, "We just have to admit it now. We have to admit it. Sean Strickland is not who he says he is. He is not who he says he is. We want him to be something. He wants to be something, but he's not that guy. He's not the guy who's going to go to the death. To the death. He didn't go to the death. He didn't even go deep. I'm not saying he's not a great fighter. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be where he's at, but he's not who he says he is. We've got to admit that. That's my point. As a coach, I feel for Eric Nixick because I know what it's like, and I don't even want to go and be in that situation again. I know I'm hard on Sean Strickland. I know it, but it's because I'm cheated. I feel cheated by you. I hear about these gym stories, these wars that you get into. I hear about how great you are, and then you go in these fights, these high-level fights, and you give us that. You cheat us. He didn't back off. He really tried to knock Sean out. Even in the 5th round, he did everything he could to make that fight exciting. He didn't have a willing dance partner. You jab and you kick, and I know you're capable of much more. We want to see that. That's what I want to see from Sean Strickland. I don't want to see him jab his way to losses. I want to see him give me what he's capable of. I want to see the full potential of Sean Strickland. Dricus Du Plessis says he's down to fight Alex Pereira. However, he stated that his priority is to fight Khamzat Chimaev first. Dricus is hoping Alex defeats Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 313.
On the mic at the end, you took it and walked straight at Alex Pereira. It seemed like you sent a message to him. There was something online that he challenged you to come up to 205, and you said deal. Is that true? What happened backstage?
Yeah. He came up and he said, did you challenge me? And I was like, I did the whole show. I did the whole movie scene and everything. And you're like, did you challenge me? That's kind of, I mean, that's anticlimactic, but sure, yes. And I said, yeah, I did challenge you, but I did, I have the world's respect for Alex Pereira. I think he is the pound for pound best fighter in the world. I have the most respect for him, what he's done in a short period of time in the UFC, to come from another sport, what he's done there. But yes, I want to share the octagon with that man. I want to be a guy. I've beaten Adesanya. Who's beaten him? I know I can beat him. And at 205, 100%.
So Dana was also in here, and he said, that possible fight against you and Khamzat would also be pretty massive at this point. So if it were up to you and he came to...
No, Khamzat's first.
Khamzat's first?
Khamzat's first. No, I wish him... I said, please beat Ankalaev. No hate against Ankalaev. I just want to beat Alex Pereira. It's nothing personal against Ankalaev. It was just... Pereira, he's such a legend in the sport to me already, that it would be amazing to beat him for my legacy. I want to be the greatest to ever do this. But Khamzat's next. Khamzat is next. I want to make sure that this belt, the middleweight title, that there's no question that I'm the GOAT.
Dana White praises Sean Strickland for his professionalism following his loss to Dricus Du Plessis. Dana also went off on Australian media and called them the biggest he's ever seen in media in his entire life.
Your take on the fight and how do you view it?
I agree with you. Sean is usually really good at shutting people down, and like Izzy, when he fought Izzy felt like it looked like he couldn't get into a rhythm, and he was in his face, pressuring him the whole time. Feels like that was what Dricus did. I'll tell you something fascinating that I noticed tonight for the first time. I don't know why. See if you noticed this. So Sean Strickland, the way that he acts leading up to fights, right? Normally when you have people who act the way that he acts, you see signs of it in a fight. Who is more focused, professional, and solid in a fight than he is? When he gets hurt, no sticking out the tongue or no, that didn't hurt me, anything. The guy stays focused, keeps coming forward. There's never any hint of how he acts outside the octagon when he's in there. Absolute professional the whole time. It's actually fascinating. I don't know if I've ever seen that with a guy who acts the way he does leading up to fights.
It must just be his happy place or something.
Huh?
It must be his happy place.
I don't know. Or this is all, you know what I mean? I've never seen a guy so solid and professional. Gets his nose broke, snaps it back into place and keeps fighting. Gets hit with some nasty shots. When he gets hit with big shots, he doesn't start shaking his head and doing all the goofy things that people like that do. I mean, you can go into any combat sport and you've seen it. Nobody was more professional during the fight than this guy is. It's fascinating, actually. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, no, most of us do. It's ridiculous. We don't even like the paper here. But
listen, for a place that is so tough, and the people, everything on land and the water can kill you. You have the biggest I've ever seen in the media in my life. I saw a story where a guy was like, I saw Dana do a podcast with the Premier, and it physically made me sick. Holy You guys have to have the biggest of all time in the media here, just for the record.
Following her successful title defense against Tatiana Suarez, Zhang Weili expresses her interest in moving up to the flyweight division to challenge Valentina Shevchenko in pursuit of a second world title.
Dana was in here and he said that your team was waiting for him in the back, and earlier this week you had said if it was up to you, you would go up and try for a second belt against Valentina. Dana said he was going to talk to your team after. I'm curious, did your team and Dana talk after his scrum?
Yeah, let's talk with Dana later. But I think everything is about timing. So if there is a good time for both of us and to make this fight happen, it happens.
Magomed Ankalaev had some words for Alex Pereira last night. Magomed challenges Alex for the light heavyweight title next month at UFC 313. He posted this to X following UFC 312. He wrote, at Alex Pereira, this guy keep traveling, and he forget that he will be fighting for his life on March 8th. He will never be the same after this fight. At Dana White, mark my word. He followed up with, I never want to hurt someone in my life like I want to hurt Alex. He is a fake humble boy. He ended it off with, I've been climbing mountain, chopping wood, swimming in freezing lake, and Alex been dancing and making video like TikTok chick. Daniel Cormier shared details of a conversation he had with Alex Pereira following UFC 312 last night. After Dricus Du Plessis called out Pereira, Cormier revealed that Alex responded by saying Dricus is simply too small for him. Be sure to go check out DC's full breakdown of UFC 312 on his YouTube channel. Links in the description.
Sean Strickland knew that he needed to do more, but he never could get started. Dricus Du Plessis, the man in the octagon, he calls out Alex Pereira. I told Pereira after the fight, I go, he wants you, Pereira. Pereira goes, he's just too small. Seriously, Pereira goes, this man is just too small. You know, so Alex is huge though. I mean, he looked massive compared to Dricus. And I love that Dricus has these big goals. I just think that he still has work to do at middleweight before he starts thinking about going up. Khamzat Chimaev being problem number one. But watching Dricus today, I don't know that Chimaev just drives across the mat and takes him down. He's so good at what he does. He's the man. Dricus Du Plessis is the man. And once again, proved that. This guy, it looks like it's going to be very difficult to get the belt off of him. I know Chimaev has a massive following and people like him. He's been dominant. I just don't know that he has ever seen anyone like Du Plessis. Even speaking to Dana in the octagon, we were talking about the greatness of Du Plessis and how do you train for him? Who can you bring in that does the things that Du Plessis does? Du Plessis throws punches and kicks at the same time, and it works. He's a puzzle that has not been solved in the UFC. It's going to be very difficult to get the belt off him. So congrats to Dricus Du Plessis, his entire team, for what was a dominant performance.
Dricus Du Plessis shared his thoughts on what's next for Sean Strickland. He believes Sean will likely have a rematch against Israel Adesanya. Dricus said he's looking forward to the fight and believes Sean will come out on top once again.
What do you think's next for him to the top?
That's a very interesting. I know what's going to happen next. I can almost guarantee you what's happening next. Is there any bets that he's fighting Adesanya next? Yeah, I just thought of that, yeah. Imamov, no ways. He's already shown that he beats that style every time. Yeah. Hey? Ooh, Rob. Oh, he said Rob only has a blitz. But that's only that'll be nah. I think the Adesanya rematch will be amazing. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, there's gonna be a fight night main event. I know it.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Jay Taylor. It says, when Sean said to the death, I didn't think he meant by boredom. The second one says, if Khamzat versus Dricus happens, we're about to witness the wildest cardio experiment in UFC history. One guy wrestles like a grizzly bear on espresso, the other guy fights like he just escaped a medieval battle. Someone's gas tank is getting repossessed by round 3. And the final one says, thickness is a crazy last name. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.